You're welcome back. This is Breakfast Daily. Time now to talk about issues, real issues, that concerns you and I, bread and butter issues. So after almost 2 weeks, of postponement, yesterday, the Finance Minister, Ken Ofori-Atta, in his white with his gold chain, was in Parliament to present...
In the briefcase.
Yeah. It's a gold chain and a white for me. It was in Parliament, to present the mid-year budget review. Now, we all had expectations, and... well, some were addressed, others were not. We are going to be talking about that, in plain terms, what that means to you and I. Now, ahead of that, Vivian was on air,
yes.
Having conversations with AGI and Guta, on the skyrocketing prices.
Yeah.
It looks like almost every day something is going up. Now, when you ask of the price of something today, you better buy it because in 24 hours time, you go and it's a different story. Yeah. So the conversation has been going on. Let's take a look or take a listen at some of the issues that were discussed. After that, we'll come back to really look at what the Finance Minister also put out.
The prices as and when you feel like, which we are not happy about. You want to justify that. I don't think you have any justifications, but you attempt.
Well, I'm very surprised that you even concluded the fact that we increase our prices. It's not true.
But because it's in the market.
I'm in the market. I go to the market. I buy food.
Yes.
I am construction. I have people close with the construction industry. I have friends who are building. And every day, the price goes up. Every day, every price goes up.
It's true. It's very true.
He's the one behind it.
And I just gave you an itinerary of events from global effects of these prices, the shipping, the cost of freight charges, the effects of Ukraine war, the exchange rate in particular. Our monies have depleted since December. Our capital...
So you are now trying to make up for the depletion?
No, the accumulation of same is impacted on the prices. It's not that anybody take delight to increase price. As a matter of fact, the trading that we do thrives on turnover. And that's when prices go up, when there's inflation, we are in big trouble. This is the time that if you do not take care, all your capital will be eroded. And this is because the capacity of the final consumer is limited. And as a matter of fact, his purchasing power has been reduced. So if the consumer used to buy 10 pieces of item with the same money, this time around, you find it difficult to buy even 5 with the same amount of money that he used to buy the 10. And it limits your turnover. It means that you are not able also to turn the number of times that you are able to buy your goods to be able to service your supplier. If you do not even get credit from our local sources and get it from the banks, our supplier is giving us credit and you have to service that payment. And if your credit is also a borrowed one, that one that you've taken from the bank with those extortive lending rates, then they are going to take all your...
That's fair. Your reasons are fair.
So let me land, then you understand. And then we are not in a monopolistic market. The market is so varying, so wide, so big, and so competitive to the extent that whilst we are even competing among ourselves as Ghanaians, now there's influx of foreigners in this market, the Chinese malls and all that get everywhere.
Yeah.
It will be unwise by any trader to overprice himself or herself out of competition. It's never possible. In any case, there's a trader in every household in Ghana, a trader in your house, a trader in Abba's house, a trader in this gentleman's house. If we can sell our goods with impunity and overprice ourselves, all the traders in your houses might have built skyscrapers.
No.
Excuse me, it's not please, it's not fair. When we are talking, I was not here. It is not fair. I've given you tangible reasons why prices have gone up, and everybody is very much aware. Competition itself does not allow us. We are not in a monopolistic industry. In the one commodity line, in a vicinity, trading vicinity, about 2,000 people, and then the consumer has the right to choose the one with the cheaper price. How on earth can somebody out of his own wealth that I want to increase price, and then he increase price, and then the public no.
But then when one increases it and he even has one person buying it follows through. That's what we see.
No.
So cement prices, for example, goes to 63 cedis. When you are building a house, let's say your house is around Achimota, and people will usually buy from the easy access, so they'll buy from the cement the cement guy in the area rather than go and buy from the cheaper one in Tema, for example. Immediately you buy from the one person at Achimota and it moves, the rest follow. It's like you have formed a cartel and then you decide what to do and then it moves.
A cartel, because you just told me the answer. That one in your vicinity was selling at a higher price, and then he found somebody in Tema and then went to buy from them. It means that the customer has a choice.
No, the customer won't go to Tema. They will still buy the Chimota because they are looking at the transportation and all that. But Doc, explain to me.
It's not true that we overprice ourselves. We are in a liberalized economy.
No problem.
Matters others will even try to profit for sake of high profit. Others might also think about turning their goods faster because, and also paying their indebtedness.
I think that it's important to contextualize the issues. The number one, bulk majority of our people live on very minimal incomes, so they are only able to buy, from the roadside in their vicinity. So that's what we're talking about. That person who lives in the neighborhood who wants to just buy a tomato will not travel to
will
Tema.
Not go to the China Mall and all that.
China Mall.
Yes.
So that's the real Ghanaian we're dealing with at this moment. So the issue in contesting is this, just for clarity. If you are driving to, say, Ada, a basket of tomato is 20 cedis, for example. If you come to Achimota, they are selling 3 pieces, 1, 2, 3 tomatoes for 10 cedis. Once they are purchasing a basket that will easily be over hundreds of tomatoes.
A basket will be like 20.
No, I'm saying.
Oh, a box.
You mean a box?
Okay.
No, I'm talking about if you pass the basket, yes, they have. But there was 20 cedis, 25 cedis, 30 cedis. But look at the profit they are making just from a 1 hour drive to Achimota.
Yeah.
So that's the reality. You're not being fair to the ordinary person who is buying. You're taking advantage of them because they don't have the luxury of traveling to Ada to be able to
get
buy
a cheaper one.
Yes.
And even when they are the transportation and all that, they are better off.
So we're talking about profiteering in terms of making excessive profit just dealing with your fellow ordinary people. That's what we're talking about. AGI are a group of industries. We produce for mass market
and cheaper.
So we have distributed all over the countries, etc., and even beyond. So that one, the price become a big deal because then you're dealing with imported product at that large scale. We're not talking about one-on-one selling in our household. That's where the problem is. So the profiteering, the abusing of the system, we're talking about it in respect to, considering our ordinary people who are buying from the market.
What I have to say is that they both have good argument they're trying to put forward. But the basic thing is that they both would need to use the dollar to import, either to manufacture or to import to sell. So now let's look at the issue of how do we stabilize the dollar so that it doesn't become an issue that you don't think that it's still, because the money is on the ground. And it's not that he may be defending the people that he lead, but some of them too will be practical on the ground that is how it is. And then like Charam is also saying that we need to import the things to be able to produce at a cheaper rate so that we can also make it affordable to a final consumer. You understand? So yes, now let us center the discussion on how do we ensure that the critical minds can bring these things to the fore to ensure that the dollar is stabilized. Electricity, cost of production, labor, everything is at the rate where the farmer, the final product becomes affordable
Yeah.
to the masses. Okay, not those at the top of the pyramid, but those at the bottom of the pyramid. How can they afford the things that, whether they are imported or they are locally produced here?
All right, so there you heard some of the conversations that went on yesterday, preceding and during the mid-year budget review. Well, we've been joined in studio by the host of Footprints, Samuel Atamensa. Good morning, Samuel.
Morning, sir.
How are you doing?
Very well, thank you. Yourself?
I'm great.
No, I see
No,
that
I'm
one.
great.
I see that one.
I feel really good.
No,
yeah.
in all aspects, you're great, man.
Thank you very much. And
Good morning,
Frima here is
Thomas.
looking very,
Hello, Frima.
Very hairdresser.
well, yeah. I wasn't going to say that. But.
Well, I mean that uniform and proudly, proudly the hairdresser's uniform. Welcome, Sames.
Thank you.
Great.
Yeah. So the conversation that they were having.
Yeah, I watched them yesterday. Yes. Yes.
How do you feel about it? Because it looks like the Guta side was defending as it should. The traders and the.
No, I was just amazed at the divide between Guta and AGI.
Yeah.
And my thinking was that, look, you people, you are too suspicious of each other. Because, frankly, they were talking about the same thing.
Yeah.
From different perspectives, if you like. At the end of the day, we are all trying to preserve an economy.
Yeah.
And the price point at the point of consumption is what is of the essence.
Yeah.
Okay. So AGI parades itself as a group of, if you like, manufacturers who do a lot more to add value. And then Guta is also seen as we just do buying and selling, if you like.
Yeah.
So in the thinking of Guta, the inflation thing is affecting us. And then in the thinking of AGI, stop importing so that we can add more value. To our things, So I think it's a fair statement to an extent, but it doesn't capture all the elements, that account for where we find ourselves, and the reason is that even for the manufacturers, there's so much of their components that they import. So basically, we are all at the same place. Yeah. So, but again, the conversation at that time had to do with how the soaring prices.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now again, prices are going up everywhere.
Yeah.
Prices are going up everywhere. I mean, every country is experiencing this kind of price hikes. In some cases, unprecedented. In the UK, for instance, they are seeing hikes in prices that they have not seen since 1980-81. For 40 years.
Wow.
They are seeing price hikes, of course, inflation that they have not witnessed in 4 decades. Some states in the US recording, depending on which states. Mainland Europe, same thing. Asia, same thing. So I think one fact is that it's a global trend. Having said that, I think each country is handling this thing in a particular way based on the type of leadership you have, the type of resources you have, and the mindset of the people that you're leading. Okay? You will notice they kept saying, in fact, it's been something that's been in the system, that in Ghana, there's this arbitrage kind of pricing where people hear of something and in anticipation, they choose to arbitrarily increase their prices to try and preserve their gains. And you can do all the surveys and the researches, nothing will make sense. But that's what we see.
Yeah.
So yes, prices are going up, and it's a pain to the final consumer.
Yeah.
And I think at the retail level, the prices that are going up have a lot more, but not limited to, a lot more, but not limited to do with imports.
Okay.
A lot more to do
Yeah.
with imports.
Okay.
And the reason is that the moment you import, you trigger our CD-dollar relationship. And to see that the CD versus the dollar, the CD has seen a loss in value of between 23 and 25% since January this year. It puts the burden on those who import. I think this is simple logic.
Yeah.
And if our taste preference would be to import rather than to consume what we have, then I am afraid there's no end in sight with this trend of soaring prices.
Now, Sames, you mentioned, that even with manufacturers, we have to import, some of
Components.
Yes. So where we stand now, how do we turn things around in developing local taste, for what we produce? That is,
Well,
if you are producing at all.
Seeing that we are disadvantaged because we depend on the dollar, I think for me, the first point is to try and reduce any activity that depends on the dollar.
Okay.
That is to lessen our dependency on the dollar. That's the first port of call. Meaning, if there are services, products that we can generate from our country, we should pay attention
To those.
Agriculture, education, some services that we can, IT services and all these things. I think we have no business paying dollar for education outside of Ghana.
Yeah.
We have no business.
No.
And this is something we have said it time without number, that you can't, if you need dollar to run your economy, prioritize and see where the most critical sectors of your economy will definitely require the dollar. If you ask me, education is not one of them.
No, it's not.
And I'm talking about funding tertiary education in other countries. This is the point. Let me clarify. Where we use our meager amount of dollars to pay what we call scholarships for people to go and study outside of Ghana and study courses that are also offered in Ghana.
Yeah.
This is what it means. It means that you are depriving the Ghanaian taxpayer of something that they deserve in favor of a taxpayer in another country who hasn't worked for it.
Yeah.
I like to oversimplify this thing so that people will get a picture.
Yeah.
The United Kingdom gives scholarships to Ghanaian students, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
What do you call it? Bernard
We
is
have the
the Chevening scholarships. First, we used to call it ODA scholarships, and then British scholarships, and Chevening scholarships. Okay, I am asking myself, have you ever heard that somebody was given a Chevening scholarship to study at the University of Ghana before? Why do they give Chevening scholarships? So that people will go and study in UK universities and not American universities. The principle is that they will not take their money to put food on somebody else's table.
Yeah.
So why do we use our Get Fund to pay for people's school fees to put food on other people's table?
And 50% of the time, they will not even come back here to work.
And how do you expect
At least not in the productive
UPSA
life.
to grow?
Yeah.
How do you expect University of Ghana to move to the next level? How do you expect Ashesi University to move to the next level?
Yeah.
You see, so I'm just saying that. And indeed, if you have to grant scholarship to Ashesi, students going to Ashesi or University of Ghana or Kivas, you don't pay dollars, you pay cedis.
Yeah.
I mean, I think this is not rocket science.
No, it's not.
It's one of the most useless efforts that we make as a country, paying money for people to go and study outside courses that are offered in Ghana.
Yeah.
And then people talk about, oh, but the quality is different. Which quality?
I don't understand that.
What do you know that we don't know? What quality? It's not, it's that it has nothing to do with quality. It has absolutely nothing to do. If you prefer something else, you better be prepared to pay for it.
Yeah.
But don't take the taxpayers' money and go and put food on another person's table somewhere else and come and complain that we need dollar.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Maybe it's not so significant, but it all adds to the pie.
No, it is significant because I mean, at the end of the day, it's little drops of water that are,
Look at how much cedis you need for $100.
Yeah, exactly.
Look at how much.
Yeah.
We go to IT services.
Yeah.
We go to IT services. My brother, people are buying software from Abrochi.
Yeah.
And I'm talking about software that has been proven time and time again that Ghanaian software companies can do it.
Yeah.
The other day, I made this point on the CBS. And somebody sent a text that, oh, we bought a software from Ghana and it's giving us problems. And I was like, okay. So what's the point? Because you can buy a software from the UK and it will give you problems.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But if we want to dig deeper, I'm going to ask you, what processes did you go through in making the choice of the software provider in Ghana?
Exactly.
Because top of my head, I can mention 5 companies that have about 90 to 95% accuracy.
Yeah.
And I'm talking about global level competitive
Yeah,
software companies that are here.
Yeah.
So I'm saying that somebody must be tough with decision that, okay, let's start with the low-hanging fruits, the ones that we can manage, okay? Because, of course, if you are going to be protective, then all these WTO, all these things will come. But there are some areas that are outside that framework.
Yeah.
Education services, for instance. IT services, for instance. And I'm saying that if we can start by dropping down our dependency on the dollar, I think it's a good place to start from. Because look, if you look at the inflationary figures that we've been given, the imported inflation, and I'm talking about inflation that is caused by imports of foreign foods, according to Bloomberg, rose to almost 30%. No, not 30%. Let me see you. Yeah, almost 30%. 30.7%.
Wow.
As opposed to, 29 or so for the other one. So I'm just saying that why do we take ourselves through this? Because people prefer to go and buy cheese from Abrochi and come and eat here.
Yeah.
No, but why is it difficult? Because I think this is pretty straightforward.
Well, they'll say that the economy is structured in a way that is interdependence on, But I'm just saying that everything shows that we cannot afford.
Yeah.
If we can't afford, we have to review it.
Then there's also underlying all of this the fact that a lot of people benefit on the side from a procurement kind of economy.
I hear these things all the time.
Yeah.
But I say the world over, people benefit from procurement.
Okay.
No, right.
You see,
So,
but is it
the
like-
world over,
Okay.
you see.
Okay.
But how about, even if you are benefiting from the procurement, the procurement is internally generated
Exactly.
to source locally. How about that?
Then that one.
So that was what I was going to say,
Yeah.
that even if we decide
Turn it locally
to
and
turn
then-
it around,
yeah.
people will still benefit, you know, but the money stays
It
home.
stays- yeah.
You know, so what are we doing to ourselves? Anyway, so
So that's it for the prices and my thinking.
But another major thing, or I won't say even another, there are a series of issues, you know,
Yeah.
that were raised as well, you know.
Yeah.
So prior to hearing the minister speak, we were looking at free SHS issues, you know, being reviewed, like e-levy and stuff like that. But the man says that, especially with free SHS, and I'm particularly concerned about free SHS because of all the issues that have generated,
feeding
you know,
issues.
I mean, to the extent that even superzonal schools, I mean, sporting activities, you know, we can't even do this because the children don't have food to eat. But we still say that, yes, free SHS will not be reviewed. You know, we are going to do it exactly how we've been doing it and have generated all these issues. You know, so there's a story on City Newsroom.
Yeah.
I think we should look at that,
Okay.
you know.
Yeah. So we have it here. Let's read those stories here. So the first one, we're looking at citynewsroom.com. Free SHS and TVET not under review, Finance Minister reiterates. Now it says, following speculation about the possibility of the free senior high school policy being reviewed, Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta has clarified that government has no such intentions. Delivering the mid-year review of the budget statement and economic policy of the government for the 2022 fiscal financial year today, July 25, 2022, in Parliament, Mr. Ofori-Atta stressed government's interest in human capital development. It has been at the core, and I quote, of our national transformation efforts since 2017. We have invested 5.3 billion Ghana cedis to enable 1.261 Ghanaian children million Ghanaian children to access secondary education under the free SHS program at the end of 2021 to improve access to education. Out of the 571,892 registered JHS candidates, 555,353, representing 97.1%, were placed into SHS this year. He said government is not oblivious of the challenges in accessing and transporting food for students in SHS and is fixing them. Okay, so in response, we have engaged stakeholders and devised a program that ensures that schools will not be disrupted and our students are well fed. All right, so it has included, as government has also completed 17 additional projects, including classroom blocks, dormitories, staff bungalows, etc., to deal with the record increases in the numbers. Yes, and he goes on to talk about TVET and all of those not going to be pulled back and so on. So my challenge with this is that it's almost as though whatever, come what may, we will not back down from free SHS.
I'm not sure about come what may.
No, because you see, it sounds to me like the same posture that we took with, we won't go to IMF no matter what.
Yeah.
You know, when we could see certain things were clear, the signs on the wall, as it were, writing on the wall. But here's the situation: the children are struggling, and when we say that we have.
I don't know about come what may. I don't know because nobody saw Russia-Ukraine coming, and it came.
And it came.
Nobody saw COVID coming, and it came. So it's not a come what may issue necessarily. And again, I was not expecting Ken Ofori-Atta to come and say that we suddenly have stopped free SHS. It doesn't happen that way. And what he said, I think as per the story, is that it's not under review.
Yeah.
And that's a statement of fact. It's not under review.
Which doesn't necessarily mean that it will not be reviewed later.
Well, you know, he's only the finance minister.
Yeah.
He's not the president.
No, he's not.
And guess what? He has, in times past, shared his own opinions
Yeah,
about free
that's true.
SHS. Remember?
That's
Yeah.
true.
And so
On
we know what
CBS
he,
as
as a
well.
human being, thinks. And then we also know that what he thinks as a person
Yeah.
is actually not consistent
Yeah, with
with,
what-
with the situation.
Yes, that's
So
true.
he's forgiven.
That's true.
But coming to the details, what I am saying is, based on the resources he's superintending over, he believes that we can manage it.
Okay.
The people at the receiving end, who are the, if you like, operational level, don't think so. And one of the reasons I spoke to a headmaster on Friday, one of the reasons that they think that it's not sustainable is that they don't believe that, as they put it, the people at the top, obviously, meaning policymakers,
Yeah.
know exactly how we are suffering down here because they don't tell them the full story.
Okay. Who's preventing our policymakers from hearing the full story?
All of us.
Okay.
All of us, including the media. All of us, including the media.
How are we
Are we
changing the
not? Are
narrative?
we not doing
No, because
our bit?
who's we? You as city will do yours. You don't know how others will do
Okay,
it.
okay.
There are others who do it, but they will create an agenda out of it.
Okay.
There are others who do it in a way that is politically motivated. So everybody has become suspicious of one another.
Okay.
But the fact is that there's a gap. The gap is what pertains down there and what the policy maker sees as their reality. From where I sit, I will repeat, the free SHS in the form that it is today is not, repeat, not sustainable.
I agree.
And again, the form, how it's been modeled, I don't know of any country that has this type of free secondary education. And by saying that, I'm not saying that I know everything. I'm only saying that with my little knowledge,
Yeah.
I'm yet to
Come across a
come
country.
across a country
Yeah.
that has this type of free education where everything, including uniform and PE kit and everything, is free. If you are Qatar or one of these high-end
Bahrain.
oil-producing countries, you probably will be in a good place
To do
to
that.
afford.
Yeah.
But you are not, obviously not.
Yeah.
And so, can we afford? Maybe because of being consistent with our political promise, we'll break our backs to do it. But guess what? It is coming at the expense of something. You may admit it or not, it doesn't matter. Because that's something that you are sacrificing, maybe today or tomorrow when you are no more in power.
Yeah.
And it will come very hard at you. It's as simple as that. So there's no politics in this, it's reality.
Yeah.
Everything shows that it is not sustainable. Pay boarding fees, pay hostel fees, pay everything, and then let people go there and study. It's okay, well-meaning, good,
It's a good idea.
but can we afford?
You know,
My
but
answer
the,
is
the,
no.
the Minister of Education, you know, and his team have been moving around to schools, you know, when the issue of shortage of food, the children are complaining, parents are complaining, they visited schools. I don't know what they gathered, you know, on the grounds. I don't know if headmasters, school management did not also give them the reality on the ground.
The thing is, if you are the Minister of Education, or you are the officer in charge of Ghana's the whole education sector, and it takes a physical visit
Yeah.
to a school for you to determine whether things are okay, then there's a big problem.
Yeah.
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 Now, I believe
if it
that.
takes
Yeah.
a physical visit to make that determination, because you will not be there for another 1 week.
Yeah.
And some of them too are protecting their jobs. Some of them are protecting their jobs.
Yeah.
So I think that, again, It's a difficult political decision, as difficult as going to the IMF was. If we mean well, by this time, Ghanaians know that the MPP meant well with a free education. But can we afford? We cannot. We just cannot.
Well, there are some countries who are actually paying couples for getting married. They can do free SHS because they have excess money.
No, but I think that, even sitting here, there are, so when you also turn the tables around, let's look at the support we are giving those in boarding houses, So for me, why are we also not giving TNT to day students? So some of these things, exactly, why are we not giving food to them? Because they're also in school during lunchtime, but they don't get like the privileges that boarders are getting, We should be able to say that, okay, tuition is free. Maybe learning materials are free. But if you want to sleep here, pay something, If these things should be done, because otherwise we are also discriminating even against some of the children. So if you are paying for accommodation for them, then give me also TNT because I am paying for my own accommodation, but give me TNT. So if we break it down, these little things, you realize that you are not being fair to other people. So let's review this and take some of these things off, honestly.
Well, most countries, the UK, most countries in Europe, we are all practicing free education at a secondary level, But I'm yet to find one country that pays for boarding, that pays for feeding, that pays for school uniform. And I'm saying that let's review it and let's revamp the secondary school scholarship scheme so that by this time we would have some kind of research to know where the critically need those in need will be found. They apply for it, they are granted scholarships.
So that students.
But you don't. I mean, the whole blanket offering is now hitting us very hard.
Maybe the problem actually came from the fact that maybe the understanding of what free SHS actually is, free secondary school education, because like you're saying, there are places that are practicing free education, but it's not everything that's free. It's still called free. So it's almost as if we let people pay for some part, then it's no longer free. So it spoils the plan.
No, for me, I think that's just the current political point.
Education is education. Education is education. I mean, if you are not paying fees to attend university, and they said it's free to say go to University of Ghana. You could leave your home and go to the university and not pay anything. But that's not how it works. No. So what I'm saying is that if I'm a day student and it's free, it's free. If I'm a boarding and it's free, it's free. I'm a boarder and it's free, it's free. But if I have to sleep and eat, that has to be paid for by somebody. Now, there are people that we can establish that no matter which angle you go, they cannot afford it. Such people, the system should be able to identify, locate them, and help them with scholarships. Beyond the scholarships, we have special scholarships schemes by corporates. GMPC has one. We have the TALO one. We have other institutions.
Is the COCOBOD scholarship still in operation?
I am not so sure. But of course, COCOBOD had one. So I'm saying that these things, we can reignite all these things to become a pool of sources of funding for secondary education. I may sound oversimplifying this thing, but it's definitely a way to start. Because what we all have seen in the last 4 years is that it's going to be, in the long term, very difficult to sustain the free SHS the way it's modeled.
All right, well, we'll take a quick break. Don't go anywhere. There's more coming up in our conversations.
Right, so the conversation is still on. The media budget was presented in Parliament yesterday, and we are looking at aspects of it, that affects our everyday lives. Now, another thing that we were expecting the Finance Minister to comment on, SE levy, but unfortunately, well, the long and short of the whole thing is nothing will happen to e-levy. For those who thought probably it was going to be scrapped, it was going to come down, something will happen, e-levy stays as e-levy. The 1.5, is what we are going to pay. For now, nothing has changed. Samens, this is it.
Well, I don't know why people were expecting anything to change in the first place.
Maybe since
because
you
people are
realized that
complaining
e-levy was
and-
supposed to generate some funds, you know, to cushion the economy. We didn't get the targeted revenue. We are still going to IMF. Then why are we breaking our backs? Would you want to take it off? Would you want to review it to come down a little bit, you know, to give us some kind of relief?
Well, taxation, again, the world over is impacted by behaviors. People's behavior and the way people respond to tax policies would definitely impact how much you can generate from taxes. And e-levy is, if you like, a form of an incremental tax, which means that the nominal amount of money they realize depends on the volume of the transaction.
Transactions,
You
yeah.
know, so the more the better for them.
Yeah.
Now, what we know is that because of the efficiency of information exchanges prior to the commencement of e-levy, and I use the word efficiency, the technical form, from efficient markets. Okay, so because of the noise, the whole information thing has impacted on the rollout.
Yeah.
And so people would not go in all out. People will reduce the volumes of transactions and all that. And that stands to reason, I can understand. But I think that the same way we, Kufuor illustrated the benefits of HIPIC funds to everybody, the whole HIPIC thing, which at the beginning was made to be seen as a negative thing, was turned around in a very lovely manner to become positive. You go, you drive in the villages, they actually put signages indicating
HIPIC benefits,
the HIPIC
projects.
benefits.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that the managers of the economy should stretch their imaginations a bit in illustrating the real tangible benefits of the e-levy. It's only a matter of time. People will come along with it. This is my thinking. And again,
It makes a lot of sense.
it will be surprising for anybody in authority to think that the first year of e-levy was going to give us a breakthrough, given the kind of conversations and animosity and all the things that preceded its introduction. So with time, if they are consistent, I think that it will find its level. So, and I wasn't expecting that anybody will come and if look, no matter which government comes, I doubt if they will touch e-levy.
I mean, when you are in the driving seat, no, you will not touch e-levy. No.
It's a comfortable source of revenue.
No, I mean, who wants to cut off their source of revenue?
Yeah.
I mean, we've seen taxes that have been introduced, where governments in opposition, when parties in opposition say, oh, we don't want it, and then when they come, they dance around it. What did we hear?
VAT.
National health insurance. What did we hear? When we come, we're going to do it free.
Even the
they
top
came,
tax.
they didn't do it. Top tax, same thing. So let's see. But I doubt if anybody is going to change.
No, that I'm with you. No, it won't change.
It won't change.
So, well, we just have to brace up, you know, and be hopeful that the money will be put to good use. That is, if we're able to generate this money, it will be put to good use. Now, another interesting area too is we woke up one day, you know, and for road users, it came as, oh, okay, that's nice, you know, that we will not be paying road tolls. You know, for the people who were manning the road tolls, they lost jobs. And recently they embarked on protests, you know, to talk about what would be done for them. They were promised jobs and all that, but nothing happened. And so they were very upset about it. But yesterday we also heard that road toll is coming back, not for every road, but specifically the Accra-Tema motorway, when it's completed, we are going to be paying road toll to recoup the investment, you know. And I think that's a good idea.
It makes sense.
But I
of
honestly,
course.
I don't understand. I don't understand the whole I said the whole caboodle. I don't understand that.
What's the
what's your
difficulty?
challenge? Yeah.
My difficulty is, why do you want to introduce the issue of road tolls only at Tema?
Yeah.
Why? Are you telling us that by introducing road tolls at Tema, you will be able to recoup some revenue, generate revenue? Is that what we are being told? And indeed, if we are being told that if we introduce road tolls on the Tema motorway, we can make money, then why have we chosen only Tema motorway?
Yeah.
Okay.
I work in the media. Maybe I missed it. I don't know whether people were complaining that they couldn't pay road tolls. That led us to that point of cancelling, wholesale cancellation of road tolls.
Yeah.
Nobody complained.
I think it was much more of the traffic situation
That was what we-
generated.
That's
yeah.
only inconveniencing
Yeah.
in a temporary manner.
Yeah.
Yes, inconveniencing, but so what? What we needed to do was to have looked for a more efficient way. If you go to University of Ghana,
Yeah.
Yeah.
you pay
Yes.
money if you are driving into.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
You pay.
Yes.
It's a toll.
Yes.
Yeah.
But have you seen a queue there before?
No.
Maybe the traffic volumes are not the same, but they manage it in such a way that everything is electronic.
Exactly.
Now, don't tell me that somebody just woke up one day and then suddenly the electronic thing started working.
No.
It's work to be done.
Yeah.
Yes, a lot
And
of
I'm
work.
not so sure whether the whole process that led to the decision was representative enough, even among government. It looks like a knee-jerk
Yeah.
decision
Yeah.
by the ministry, which they find difficult to, reverse. But the fact that the Minister of Finance says that let's now commence road toll in Tema is an indication that it's only a matter of time.
Oh yes. I mean, test the water and see what the
It's
people
only a
say.
matter of time. But if you can't take road tolls,
Yeah.
how do you convince private sector involvement
Yeah.
in road construction?
Yeah.
How else are you going to get the money for them?
Yeah.
So the cancellation of road tolls is a no today, no tomorrow, and it's a no-no.
So if you're bringing road tolls back, I mean, let's have road tolls back properly,
Yeah.
not some selected,
Yeah.
because most of the time you have companies coming in, private sector coming in to support. So now we are going to do a tot kind of something, you know.
How do you talk about cancelling road? The Tema, you see, we are too. Look, the Tema motorway
Yeah.
traffic is not only Ghana traffic.
No.
Right.
Yeah.
It's not only Ghana
At all.
traffic.
Right.
Yeah.
You have traffic from the sub-region.
Yes.
You have trucks that come from Mali,
Yeah.
Burkina to the harbor to come and then they put pressure on this Tema
Yeah.
motorway
Yeah.
every day in their thousands.
Yeah.
And we sit back and say that,
You should do it for free.
we are good people, so do it
Yeah.
for free and
Yeah.
go back to your country. It was a wrong decision and we should change it. We should change the whole thing.
Yeah.
Road tolls will have to be reinstituted. That's my point.
But find a better way and an efficient way to
Yeah.
deliver.
I'm not sure why we haven't gone the electronic way yet.
Because this pressure is also on the Wager,
Yeah.
the Wager
Yeah,
road, all
yeah,
these
it
It
roads.
should
That's
be
what
made
is
electronic.
Yeah.
We should be made electronic. It should be made electronic.
Yeah.
So that you, for instance, if you have, say, 5 booths,
Yeah.
make 3 of them electronic,
Electronic, yeah.
and leave the 2 for manual.
To pay cash.
The 2 for manual is going to generate long queues.
So you'll be forced.
So you will be
Everybody will
forced
go
to
and-
go and do
use
the.
the electronic
That's
one.
how you start these things.
Yeah.
You don't just wake up and cancel the thing and say because there's traffic.
Yeah.
The world over, the whole world, everywhere there's road toll, there's traffic. And I'm saying the whole world. If you go Thanksgiving in America.
Yeah.
When there's it's Thanksgiving
It's a whole-
and people are leaving New York and leaving the main cities into their,
Yeah.
you know,
And
go and
hours
see the
of
booths.
traffic. Yeah.
Traffics are everywhere.
So that's what it is.
Yeah.
I mean, but you trying to solve one problem and even create a bigger one.
No, this one,
No,
it
but this
wasn't
one you
solving
didn't
any
try.
problem.
No. So what I'm
This
trying to say
particular
is,
one,
yeah.
yeah, it wasn't solving any problem. This road toll, it didn't solve any problem.
That I'm
Yeah.
even worried about.
And-
So
and I
when
think
you
even
when you
the
look at
idea that they're suggesting that they will toll it to recover, it's a wrong idea. Just toll it.
Charlie.
You see, that's the same way
tolling
with e-levy.
is
You know,
acceptable
certain
everywhere.
projections.
Tolling is it didn't solve any problem. I don't know any problem that this removing road tolls solved.
It rather rendered people jobless.
It reduced the traffic small.
Well, you see,
As for the Ouija traffic,
that's-
it reduced it.
and that's a
small,
solution to which problem?
Inconvenience for individuals, that's all.
At the expense of who?
The rest of the
The
country.
nation.
So you see, you use the word inconvenience in quote and unquote in a selfish manner.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Because inconvenience is removed by putting people out of jobs.
Yeah.
Just see what we've just done.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sometimes we have just about 2 to 3 minutes to go, but quickly I want us to touch on National Builders Corps. It's ending on the 1st of September. You know, it was supposed to have ended sometime last year, but it was extended, and so it is ending, you know, in September. But the main thing is a lot of these young people that we sought to, you know, give them jobs, employ, put something on their table, have not been paid. The complaints are still on. We are wrapping up
they'll be paid.
I mean, for the last 6 months, you know, they've not been paid. Some have gone as far back as like 17 months.
I like
When
the
would
way
they
you
be
say they'll
paid?
be paid.
They'll be paid.
Be sorted, crap.
They'll sort themselves.
They said they should go to use that.
Well, that's the next phase of it.
Yeah.
That's my understanding. But, you know, it was, again, the NAPCO itself was a stopgap measure
Yes, yes.
to kind of offer temporary employment to people. And I remember that they were advised that while you are there, still be looking out for jobs and all that. So, you know, I mean, my general feeling about NAPCO and all these government employment initiatives is that it's all not sustainable. I don't think governments should be involved in directly employing people.
No.
Apart from, of course, health, security, and the key sectors. You know, directly employing people, you cannot sustain. You just cannot sustain it. Create the enabling environment, increase business activity, and protect your own
Yeah.
as against foreign
Influence.
influence.
Yes.
And you will create activity and people will get employed.
Yeah.
That way, you don't wake up every month thinking of where to get money to go and pay salaries.
Yeah.
The efficiency lies in creating business activity for more businesses
To employ.
people
Yeah.
than government. I mean, look, government simply should get out of the business of directly employing people for the sake of reducing unemployment, because you can't pay them.
Yeah.
And I'm not the one saying you can't pay them. It shows that
You can.
You yourself know
pay
that you
them.
can pay them.
So it's just what it is.
Well, so I know that very soon, you know, we'll be mounting campaign platforms, rallies, you know, because 2024 is around the corner. But Ecclesiastes chapter 5 verse 5 says that it is better not to promise than to promise and not fulfill it. The evidence is clear. We will end it here. Samuel, thank you very much for your
Amen.
time.
Thank you very much.
Right.
Thank you.
This is Breakfast Daily. We'll be right
Osofo
back.
Mami, thank you.